Back to the channel here on well Steel Reapers. I forget the name of the channel. It's a new channel, but I wanted to go ahead and do a little stream here. You see I got 44 cars in my garage, and I figured I've never showed off all the cars I've got, and just a slight little talk about them. It's not going to be an in-depth thing, but I figure why not just go ahead and show the cars. Just kind of show them a little bit, give a little view of them, and you know, if you want to know more about them, you can always comment and ask, or first up is the we can get right into this. The first car I'm talking about here is the Lotus 2.6 inline six, only 691 horsepower, but it's all right. It works. So it's a little bit less, a little modified. The fenders, excuse me, have been widened a little bit to give it a little extra for the little bit beefier tires. You know, that's pretty much all done to the looks of the car. I don't even think I tinted the headlights or anything. And of course the other rims to make the tires look even wider. Now here's a car that I've heard people say they don't like, and I could say the handling isn't the best in my opinion. Now Steel, who has the same car, you've seen him on here on my live stream last night or early this morning, he may like it differently than I do, the handling wise, but it is currently using a 3.9 V8 with just over 1100 horsepower. The headlights are they're a little off, but all of them are red that I've seen. I may have overlooked the others. I kept a stock color because of the Grand National. It's a GNX. I think GNX is a little different than a Grand National, and this one you can't tell, but it's set up for drag racing. And here we have the Volvo Amazon P130. This one is also set up for drag racing. I've had this one for quite a while. I don't use it often, even for drag racing, but I've got it. It's here. I'm not sure how long this little stream will last. I just want to show off all of the cars, especially. And like I said, I got 43 cars in my garage. So, like I said, if there's anything you want to know particular about each car, you can just comment and I'll get back to you. Or if you follow my main channel, which is Redbeard, 2 words, you can ask there as well. This one is set up for just racing in general. I forgot that this one has a 3.8 V8 in it as well. I forgot to mention that, with just under 1,000 horsepower. I forgot to touch on that, so my bad. This one is a 5-liter V8. It is the Aston Martin DB5, just under 1,200 horsepower. I thought the rusty look added something to it. The same basic graphics. If you can tell, they both say Frisky Motorsport on them, so they're the same graphics pretty much, but just a different layout, I think. Here we got the big boy, the 55 Bel Air, or 55 Chevy as I grew up calling it. It's got the forged 4.7 V8, and the motor is just over 1400 horsepower. This car is set up for strictly drag racing, and if you follow my main channel, you've seen it in a few drag races, and it's quite good at it. This is one of the newer cars that I've got for racing. It's not really, you can't. It's mostly stock looking. It is the Subaru BRZ Premium. The motor is a flat six, the 3.8. I found so far to be the best motor. There might be something else better, but of what I tested, this is what the best results for me, which could be different for you depending on how you use the car, what tracks you run on. And it's just over 1,000 horsepower. I just like that gray color. There's something about it. It grabs my attention with the blue headlights. This is the BMW M5. It's a pretty good car. It's not the fastest I've got, but it's not the slowest either. You see it the same forged 4.7 liter V8, which that's kind of a trend you'll see a few cars have. And it's got just over 1,400 horsepower. You can see all the M insignias on it there, the blue and red. Which it does not have when you buy. You get the other extra trims you got to put on there. It's just enough color to break up the all black look. Here we have the McLaren running to 4.5 1,000 horsepower. And if you know a lot about McLarens, which I don't know a lot about them, but the 570 and the number typically represents yes, which is a little bit higher than what a horsepower rating would be. So if you see this one here on the side, I put 1000S because it's 1000 horsepower. And that blue and the black, it just really goes good together. And the tag, of course, 1K HP. It's not the fastest car I've got in my garage, but it's decent. Definitely not the slowest car, neither. Now this one, just a little wild car I wanted to build on. It is the Camaro Z28 2014 model, so it's the 5th gen. It's not really fast, but I wanted it because I do have a 5th gen in real life. If you follow my Redbeard channel, you probably have seen it. This one has the stock 7-liter V8, maxed out, of course. It tends to be a better motor for the car, which you see once in a while, but it's not too common. And this one as well is set up for drag racing. Now this one here, if you watched the live last night, I did talk a little bit about this one. It is the Fairlady Z 240 ZG. It's got a flat six 3.6, and it's got just under 1,000 horsepower, well 936. And as I said last night, I kind of got the idea off of, I don't want to say the guy's name because I butcher it every time, but Han from Need for Speed, he has one of these in real life, and I thought I would kind of base off of that one. Not exact, but it's close. And it is a pretty good sleeper car as well. And here we get to the first Ferrari that I've got in the garage. I got a couple, I think. This one is the LaFerrari, which I bought it to do just for a video on my other channel. I don't drive the car. I don't really like it, but I keep it just for, well, I bought it, so why not? You can't change the motor in this car. You can only use the one motor that comes in it, and it is a 6.3 V12, and it is pushing just over 1,300 horsepower. So it's red when you get it, but I kind of like the yellow a little better because, you know, it's an exotic Ferrari. So I'm moving on to one of my favorite cars in real life anyway. This is the R34 Skyline GTR V-Spec. This one is running a 4.4 V8 with just over 1,000 horsepower. It's not super fast. It's all right. You're not going to be setting any records with it, that's for sure. But I like to have it in my garage nonetheless, just because of what it is. So that's basically the reasoning behind it, for me anyway. It says on the windshield here, alright, for anyone who's just joining, or if you see this later on and you come in halfway or whatever, this is just a reveal of the garage of my cars. I think I've got 43 cars in here, so just going through talking about them a little bit. Nothing too in detail. If you want more information on them, leave a comment on this video, and I will get back to you on that. Or you can follow my other channel, my main channel, at Redbeard, 2 words, and just what I mean by that is it's Redbeard written in 2 words. Red and beard's not one word or anything. And I go into more detail there. So, and here we are with the Plymouth Barracuda. It is the forged 4.7 V8 with 1452 horsepower, and the colors kind of stands out here, but it's just something I mess around with a little bit, and I drive it once in a while. I don't really care for the fenders. I mean, yeah, you're probably thinking if I don't care for them, why I put them on there. Same as with some of their cars, just so I get the wide tires. For some reason, some of the tires that you can't get wide unless you mess with the fenders. I kind of want to go for a Mopar M. That's not quite the Mopar M, but it looks like it works well enough. Could continue to go in the same direction now, I guess. And the Outlaw parts and labor, just because, why not? It seemed like it goes with the. And now we come to one of my favorite cars in the game, which you have to have the Black Market DLC, and you have to pay $5 for this car. Real money, not considering what you got to pay to get the car. It's the McLaren F1. It's running a forged 2.6 liter inline six. I believe it's the same as the Lotus was. But this one's got It's got 1,060 horsepower. And you can tell it's running dual turbo instead of single because the max horsepower is 1084, and I'm not running max horsepower, so. I think this is one of the fastest cars that you can get. The Porsche might just be a little bit faster. And it's mostly black, satin black, but I think the red on the rims just kind of helped just enough to break that up some, so it gives a little bit of a extra flair to it. I kind of like it. Now we come to what someone called the holy grail of the game, other than the level 50 Ferrari, which I do not have because my crew is not at level 50 yet. But this car here, people will argue all day long about whether it's the fastest car. And if you're looking about just inline speed, top speed, then yes, according to the stats. But the way I view it, it's not worth the price. I got it, like I said, just like the Ferrari, I bought it for a video. Most of the cars in my garage I have outrun other people with the Koenigsegg when I've used other cars. It's just the gearbox, I think, is what holding it back, really. With one speed on, you can't change it. It is a 5.1 V8 hybrid with 1,500 horsepower. And sad thing is, in real life, I really do like Koenigsegg, but it's not this model. Not really much to see on it because I didn't change anything on it. And for it being the fastest car in the game, it didn't cost the most either. Now we're coming to what I think is like one of the best muscle cars, if not the best one so far that I have come across. Also running the forged 4-liter or 4.7 V8. It looks to be running the single turbo on this one. I think the horsepower down some there. At 1413. It's the 67 Cougar, in case you were wondering there. And it's on the screen, but still. This is quite quick for a muscle car, and it handles pretty good too. I was trying to go for kind of a mercury blue color. It may not be exact, but in tag I put Meow because it's a Cougar, so that'd be the kind of tag you'd probably put on a Hellcat or something, but this is the Volvo 242 DL. It's well, it's one of my sleeper cars, really, because you wouldn't think of how fast this car really is by looking at it, especially stock form. It's hideous looking, but Here we got the 3.8 V8 with just under 1,000 horsepower. I didn't change a whole lot with it. It still looks pretty much stock. Honk 3 times. And this is the Boss 302 Mustang. You see it's set up for off-road because I don't play much off-road, but this is a beast of an off-road car. If you like off-road, you're looking for a good off-road car, this is a really good choice. Yeah, I'm running the Forge 3.8 V6, which I found to be the best motor, with just under 1,400 horsepower, which is a lot for a V6, I think. I have the side X exhaust on both sides. The tag boosted I got just because it's a 3.8, and I think their Ego Boost is a 3.6, but I don't know, the V6 and the Mustang kind of reminded me of the Ego Boost, so that's kind of where that came from. Here we have the AMG A45. It's I guess considered a hatch car, kind of. 3.8 V8 with just over 1,000 horsepower. Now the motors I choose for these cars, I tested a lot of the motors in each car that I have, and I went for the best one. Now, one motor that's good for what I use it for may not be good for what you use it for. But I race on the 4 corners almost always. And if you watch any of my videos on Redbeard channel, then you'll know that the 4 corners are just 4 races in the center of the almost the center of the map. Well, not quite, closer to the garage really. There's Sonic. There's J something, J turn, not J turn. I always want to say J turn, but J run or something. Then you have Helios 2 and Columbia. Those are the 4 corners, and those are the races I race almost all the time. Every once in a while I hit Arion, but so the way I have my cars built are for those 4 tracks, and that's a drag racing, and they're built for drag racing. Now I will say, as someone who used to drive these new Mercedes for my job, I never driven this particular model, the A45, but I will say I've driven the C45, the GLE45, or AMG, you know, the 45 SUV, which is a 6-cylinder, and they are pretty quick. They are, and they sound pretty good too. So. This is the newest car I've got in my garage. This is the 2008 350Z with the 4.5 liter V8, which is one of the few places you actually see that being the best motor. And I was surprised that it's the best one for this car. Just over 1,000 horsepower. So if you know how Nissan does their Z cars, especially the 350Z, 370Z, and maybe it might be the same with 300ZX. The motor size is indicated by the number. So the 350Z came with a 3.5 V6, the 370 with 3.7 V6. So you can see why I changed. I put the 450Z on the side because it has a 4.5 V8. Uh, and I'm usually when I pick a Nissan, I go for Nismo rims. The spoiler I put on just so it covers up the 350Z badge that's there on the trunk. Now, if you watch the live stream from last night, this is a car. That's why I've got this car, and I tested the motors out in it. So you'll see that if you watch that live stream, or go back and watch it now. It's a bit lengthy, but you know, it was fun making that video. Now here's one that's pretty quick as well. The Nissan Silvia Spec R Aero 3.8 V6 V8, sorry, 3.8 V8 with just over 1,000 horsepower. I guess it could be classified as a sleeper. Again, the Nismo rims on it. Rims, wheels. What do you guys say? You call them rims? You call them wheels? I do not drive this car very often. Here I have the Lancer Evolution. Is that 4? 9? No, 9. Yes. It's got just over 1,000 horsepower out of a forged 2-liter inline 4. Now this may not be the best motor for this car, but it seems to be fast enough for me. It works. So played with a guy on the stream last night. We played with a guy who had the Too Fast Too Furious Evo look going on. I forget why I have AEM as a tag on this one. This card's been through a lot of different appearances since I've had it. This car here is probably the most expensive car I have bought, and it was just over 1.5 million. It is the Pagani Huayra BC. And for the longest time, I did run the 4.5 V8 in here for a while because I didn't check out the motors at the beginning of when I first started playing the game. But your best bet for motors for this car would be either a stock motor with all Ultimate Plus parts or the 8.4 V10, which I have in here. This car becomes quite formidable. And a neat thing about this car is I drive in. So server's going to shut down soon. You get through these cars, and there's 2 flaps on the front of the car that when you're driving to a certain speed, they open up. Forward to be turning, they adjust as well. Hopefully, I can get through this car before it cuts off the game here. I'll just go a little faster if I can. Now here's a car that could be controversial for some. I call it the Patriot Camaro. It is the Camaro SS, the 67. Once again, you're running the forged 4.7 V8 with 13 for horsepower, and it is set for drag racing. I say it can be controversial because right after I set this wrap up, someone messaged me and called me a Nazi. So, yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but they did. Tag of 1776. United we stand, divided we fall on the back window. The Patriot on the front window. I've shared some of the drag races with this car on my TikTok as well as my Facebook and my other YouTube channel, so I'm sure you'll see it floating around. Here we have the R30, be a 32, right? Maybe a 33. I think it's 32. No, it is 33. The Skyline GTR with the forged 2.6 inline-6, and it is 1,060 horsepower. Again, I got this car for a video because I compared all of the Skylines and or GTRs. I think the 32, because the 34 has the not 32, the 33 has the turning signal on the bottom of the tail lights, I believe. Here we just got a basic Z06 Corvette C6, I think it is. Might be a C5. With the 7-liter V8, which is a stock motor. This is one of the cars that the stock motor is the best one for that vehicle. And it's got just under, well, it's got just over 1,200 horsepower. It says Z06 there, but the fender upper says ZR1 and the rear bumper says ZR1 as well. Now this car here, it has the correct V6 for the fastest engine for this car, but I did not have it maxed out because I don't use it. This is the car I started the game out with. So if you remember the other Boss Mustang, you're probably looking for the same horsepower rating. I needed parts for a different car at one point, didn't have the money, so I just stole off of here. And it is set up for drag racing now. The tag is what was on it when I got it. I never changed it. Lamborghini Diablo SV. I don't drive this very often, but I do once in a while. 3.9 V8 with 1,200 horsepower. I don't know why I read it out to you because it's clearly right there, but here we're looking at the Mustang GT. It's used in the 5-liter. There's 2 5-liters for this car, the stock one and then this one. It's just under 1,200 horsepower. And I know it's a lot of red, but here we have the Porsche Carrera RSR with the 913 horsepower 3.5 V6 running the single turbo. This one doesn't look like it, but it is set up just for drag racing, and it looks pretty much stock. Hence the tag stock. But it was kind of funny for whenever I do drag race with it. Yeah, I may not finish this. I got a little over 10 cars left to go through here. This one is the Nissan Skyline again. It's a 71 GTR 4-liter V8, 1,033 horsepower. If you watched the stream last night, you've seen this car in action. Here we have the RX-7. I like the RX-7, so I thought of, why not? And it is using the 3.8 V8 with just under 1,000 horsepower. This is the car I've done all my drift events in before I turned it to regular racing. Well, this is the 2010 Subaru WRX STI. Got a 4.4 V8 with just under 12 or under 1100 horsepower. The Ferrari F40, which is probably my favorite Ferrari, same motor and same horsepower as the Subaru before it. Here we have the Mazda MX-5 Miata, the 2015 edition. 3-liter inline six with 778 horsepower. This car is quite fast, faster than it looks. This is the BMW M4 GTS using the 3.9 V8 with 1234 horsepower. This car is very rare. You have to complete all drift events to get this car, which 4% of the people have done so. So I don't drive it much, but I do keep it just because of that reason. And this is the color it comes in, just like it sets. All done was change the windshield, made it dark. This is the Grand Sport Corvette C7. Uses a 6.2 V8 with 1200 horsepower. I watch a lot of street speed stuff, so it's kind of a fan made. I don't drive a car much, but I made it just for that, really. And it says fan made on the back of it. This is the Volkswagen Beetle. It's got 660 horsepower, inline 1.5 liter inline 3 hybrid. This is probably the best drag race car in the game. I call it the Rust Bucket Beetle. See ya. The 69 Dodge Charger with 1406 horsepower out of a forged 5-liter V8. I did the fenders just to get the wheels. Too bad you can't have the big blower out of the hood of it, because I definitely would for this one. This is the 06 STI 3.8 with 984 horsepower. I bought it just to compete, just to do a video with the other STI to compare them. Spoiler, the other STI was faster. Some people really like this body style. It's alright, but I prefer the hatchback style. Almost done. Hopefully we can make it. Here the Ford GT with the 5-liter V8 with 1178 horsepower. This wrap I just kind of messed around with and threw a bunch of stuff together. Here we have the Honda NSX Type R with the 4-liter V8 and 1010 horsepower. remember the Frisky Motor Sports? This is owned by the same person, company, whatever. So, and I like the white and black with the red line. That kind of looks neat too. This is the same Porsche wallet as a while ago, set up exactly the same, except this one is for actually for track racing. And you see it says that's my Redbeard YouTube channel there, so you see this, you type that in, you'll find it. And the car is set up exactly the same when it comes to the performance. Here we have the MX-5 Miata 96. Same motor as the other one. I think the same horsepower too. But this one is a monster. This was the definition of sleeper. And the back windows has got boost with 2 turbos because it is twin turboed, or dual as they call in here. And that's my crew insignia. And my PlayStation name on the windshield. So, alright guys, I just wanted to go over the garage with the cars I've got. That's going to be all for this live stream. I just haven't showed no garage. Thought it'd be a good idea to just show it. And I got 44 cars, not 43. I just realized that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and smack that subscribe button. And if you are new to the channel, it is. And then while you're down there, go ahead and give a finger to the bell icon so you'll be notified of future videos that we release on this channel. And yeah, go ahead and look up my main channel, my main channel, Redbeard. And while you're at it, also go look up Dem Boys. The co-founder of this channel also has a co-founder of another channel, so show them some love there too. Hope you enjoyed this little show and tell here, and until next time, have a blessed day.